Hello students, today I will discuss one bone, important bone of our vertebral system, that is sacrum. I have seen in many times when students are asked to pick up the sacrum, they initially hesitate to pick up it because they think that so many questions will be asked, very difficult questions will be asked, a very difficult bone, but it is not like that. Mainly the general features of the bone are asked. So you first know what are the general features and how to hold the bone in anatomical position. Then I will discuss some important attachments. You see, this is sacrum. And first of all, you will be asked how to hold the bone in anatomical position. Before holding in anatomical position, you must know what are the different parts of this bone. This is the base of the bone because it is a triangular shaped bone. So one should be base, one should be apex, and other parts are called the lateral mass. And one surface is concave. This concavity will leak forward and downward. And this convex surface, it is rough and irregular. It will be on back side or posterior side like this. So then how to hold it? You have to hold the bone in such a way so that the base is directed upwards, apex downwards, and concave anterior surface or pelvic surface looking forward and downward. So this is the anatomic position of sacrum. The sacrum is a bone which is consisting of 5 sacral vertebrae. Like all other vertebrae in our body, the sacral vertebra also having the same parts. Suppose this is lumbar vertebra. It is having body and different parts of the vertebral arch. And this is vertebral foramen. In the sacrum also, in individual sacral vertebra, sacral 1 to sacral 5, you will get all these parts. But here the parts are fused. Now, let's see the different parts of this bone. This is base, which is formed by the body of the first sacral vertebra, and this wing shaped extension from the body called the ala of the sacrum. And anteriorly, this pelvic surface, it is concave, and this concavity in male and female is different. I will come later on how to differentiate the male from the female sacrum from the pelvic surface. And in front, all the bodies of the sacral vertebra, they are fused. And at the line of fusion, you will get a ridge. These ridges are transverse ridge. All are transverse ridge. So there are 5 sacral vertebra, so there will be 4 transverse ridge. Because in this fused vertebra, there is no intervertebral disc. So the line of fusion will be demarcated as a ridge. And on either side of the ridge and other side of the medial fused body of the vertebra, you will get the foramen. This foramen looking forward or anteriorly, so they are known as anterior sacral foramina or pelvic sacral foramina. And lateral to this is the lateral mass, and it is the costal element of the sacral vertebra. And lateral mass as a whole, it is a fused costal and transverse element of all the sacral vertebra. And if I come to the posterior side here, you see in the posterior side, in the midline, there is a crest. This crest is due to the fusion of spine of all the 5 sacral vertebra. This one, excepting the lower one. If this is the lumbar vertebra and this is the lumbar vertebra lumbar 5, then 4 or 3. Here they are the spines. So if they are fused together, they will form a crest on the sacrum. This one. Yes. So this is the fused spine called median sacral crest. and lateral to spine is the lamina. Here is the lamina. Here also you will get the lamina. They are all lamina. And this one leading to the sacral canal. On lateral side of the lamina, here you see this is the articular process. One superior, one inferior. Here also these two are the superior articular process of the first sacral vertebra. But below this, the infra-articular process of first sacral vertebra and other sacral vertebra, they are fused to form a elevated margin or elevated vertical ridge called intermediate sacral crest, this one, and on this side this one. And lateral to this intermediate sacral crest, there are four sacral foramina called dorsal sacral foramina, through which pass the sacral nerve. I will come that part later on. Lateral to the sacral foramina, another vertical ridge is there or crest is there. This crest is due to the fusion of the transverse process of the all sacral vertebra, and this ridge or crest called lateral sacral crest. This transverse process here, they are all transverse process. They are fused in the sacrum. So altogether there are three sacral crests. One are the midline, median sacral crest by the fusion of the spine, then intermediate sacral crest by the fusion of the all articular processes excepting the lower one of the lower articular process of fifth sacral vertebra, which forms the cornu of the sacrum, and the superior articular process of the first sacral vertebra, which will articulate with the inferior articular process of fifth lumbar vertebra. This one. So this articular process, superior of S1 and inferior of S5, they are free. And this vertebral body or S1 body, anteriorly this prominent line or prominent margin of this body is called sacral promontory. Sacral promontory is a very important landmark because during pelvimetry, when we measure the different diameters of the pelvis, this is bony pelvis, so this is sacral promontory. When we measure the anteroposterior diameter, we take a point on the midpoint of the sacral promontory up to symphysis pelvis like this. So this promontory is very important for pelvimetry. Now come to the lateral surface. The lateral surface, in the upper part it is broad and lower part it is thin. This upper part, it is having one auricular surface, just like the auricle or ear. This is the margin of the auricle. This is the auricular surface. This auricular surface of both sides, they will articulate with the auricular surface of hip bone. This is the auricular surface of the ilium of the hip bone, will form a joint. That joint is called sacroiliac joint. Here you see in the pelvis, this part is a sacroiliac joint. Here, sacroiliac joint, it is a plain type of synovial joint. And when the weight transmitted to the vertebral column, the weight from the sacrum, it transmits to the ilium through the sacroiliac joint. Because of this reason, the lower part of the sacrum, it does not bear the weight. So it becomes tapered downwards. Posteriorly, one thing, here you see the one inverted U-shaped gap. This is called hiatus sacralis or sacral hiatus. The sacral canal, here is sacral canal. This sacral canal, this probe is there coming out to the sacral hiatus or hiatus sacralis. It is inverted U-shaped. This is formed due to the non-fusion of the lamina of the fifth sacral vertebra. But one thing to remember, that this fusion may not occur in the upper vertebra also. If the sacral 4 or sacral 3, their lamina do not fuse, this part, the sacral hiatus, will be extended upwards. And even all the lamina of all the sacral vertebra may not fuse. This may produce a long sacral hiatus. And the shape of this normally inverted U-shaped hiatus may be V-shaped. So different shape and different size of the sacral hiatus may be observed, but normally the hiatus is found by the non-fusion of only fifth sacral vertebra here. Then come to some important attachments or relations or structures which are related to the sacrum. What are these? I told you this is the body of the first sacral vertebra. This body, it articulates with the body of fifth lumbar vertebra. So the joint found between this body is called the lumbosacral joint, and it is a secondary cartilaginous joint. But laterally another lumbosacral joint is there, which is found by this inferior articular process of fifth lumbar vertebra and superior articular process of first sacral vertebra. So here is the joint. This joint also lumbosacral joint on this side and on this side. So two laterally placed lumbosacral joint found by the articular processes, and these joints are also synovial joint. So lumbosacral joints, one central, that is secondary cartilaginous joint between the body, and laterally two lumbosacral joints between the articular process, and these are also synovial joint. Next come to the ala. On the ala, this anterior round margin of the ala, it forms or it continues as the pectineal line of the pelvic beam. What is pelvic beam? Here you see, this is the pelvic beam or pelvic inlet, this one. I mark this one by the red colored chalk, pelvic beam. So this pelvic beam or pelvic inlet, it is contributed some part by the anterior rounded margin of the ala of the sacrum, and then it is continued on the hip bone as a pectineal line. And then this anterior surface of the ala of the sacrum, it is related with four important structures, and these important structures from medial to lateral, one is sympathetic trunk, it goes like this, one on either side of the body, medial to the anterior sacral foramina, and lateral to this is another important nerve called lumbosacral trunk. Then another one artery is there called iliolumbar artery. Then another nerve is there, that is called obturator nerve. So there are four important structures from medial to lateral: sympathetic trunk, this one, then lumbosacral trunk formed by L4 and L5 spinal nerve, then iliolumbar artery, and then obturator nerve is a branch from the lumbar plexus. This is frequently asked in the examination, so you must remember the relations on the anterior surface of the ala of the sacrum. And in the rough part of the ala, two ligaments mainly attached, and these ligaments are iliolumbar ligament and lumbosacral ligament. And anteriorly, this foramen called anterior sacral foramen, through which pass the anterior primary rami of the sacral nerve, sacral 1 to sacral 4. And this canal, it is the sacral canal, from where the sacral nerve, when come out, it divides into anterior and posterior ramas. So the anterior ramas, when it come out, it will come out through this anterior sacral foramina, and posterior rami, it will come out through the posterior sacral foramina, like this. So the sacral canal, it is continuous with the posterior sacral foramina as well as anterior sacral foramina. So there are 4 anterior sacral or anterior rami of 4 sacral nerve will come out through this sacral foramina, and the 5th sacral nerve it will come out through the sacral hiatus. I am coming to that later on. And lateral to this on the costal bars here you will get the attachment one muscle. That muscle is a piriformis. On this side also you will get piriformis. And this piriformis attachment like E-shaped, English letter E, this one. So the piriformis muscle is there. So this piriformis muscle attachment is here, but not, it is covering this sacral foramina. Sacral foramina is separate, muscle is here. So when the nerve is coming out, this nerve, suppose is one nerve is coming out to the foramina, here is the muscle, so this nerve will rest on the muscle. Can you see? If this is the anterior rami of the sacral nerve, it is passing over the piriformis muscle, not through the piriformis muscle. And these anterior rami of all the sacral nerves, they will form the sacral plexus. So if you are asked, what is the position of the sacral plexus, your answer will be on the anterior surface of the piriformis muscle. But in case of lumbar plexus, the lumbar plexus is passes through the psoas major muscle, so it is intramuscular. But here the plexus outside the muscle and on the anterior surface of the muscle. Then come to the posterior side. Here you will get another important muscle. This muscle is U-shaped attachment, and this U is formed by the median sacral crest and the lateral sacral crest, and this U-shaped muscle attachment is the muscle is known as the sacrospinalis or erector spinae, which is commonly known as erector spinae. It is here, and deep to this muscle is another muscle is here. That muscle is called multifidus. So multifidus muscle is covered by the erector spinae muscle, which is going upwards to the other vertebral spine also. And I already told you through this foramina, the nerve passing a dorsal rami of the sacral nerves. Then question is asked, what are the structures passing through the sacral hiatus? Through the sacral hiatus, the important structure passing, number 1 is filum terminale, which is the continuation of the pia mater. Because the dura mater and acta mater, they ends at the level of S2, sacral 2 vertebra. Only pia mater it extends downwards. And next structure is the coccygeal nerve, which is passing on each side of the filum terminale. And third content is the sacral nerve, 5th sacral nerve. So filum terminale, then coccygeal nerve, then 5th sacral nerve. This coccygeal nerve and 5th sacral nerve, after coming out through this sacral hiatus, they pass forward and going to the ventral side. That means after coming out through this foramen, they are going ventral side. But here there is one muscle. That muscle is the coccygeus muscle on both sides. So this coccygeal nerve and 5th sacral nerve, it goes through the coccygeus muscle, and the nerve which is going forward and piercing the coccygeus muscle from the branch of 5th sacral nerve is a ventral rami of 5th sacral nerve. So ventral rami of 5th sacral nerve and coccygeal nerve passes through the coccygeus and come to the pelvic surface where they form the coccygeal plexus, and dorsal rami of the 5th sacral nerve, they remain on the posterior side. So 3 structures you remember passing through this sacral hiatus. And through the sacral canal, if you are asked what are structures passing, your answer will be the cauda equina from the lower end of the spinal cord, covered by the meninges, all the 3 layers of meninges, but dura mater and acta mater, they end at the level of 2nd sacral vertebra. So the subarachnoid space and subdural space will extend up to the S2 vertebra, not beyond that. Beyond that, only pyometer called phylum terminali. Then another question may be asked, that is, what are the difference between a female sacrum and a male sacrum? I am keeping the two sacrum, suppose these two sacrum side by side. You see, side by side, or this one also side by side. Are these two sacrum are similar? Obviously not. Then what is the difference? This is male sacrum, this is female sacrum. Points are, number one, here the transverse diameter of the body of the first sacral vertebra is more than the transverse diameter of the ala. In case of male or in case of female, the transverse diameter is less or equal to the transverse diameter of the ala. Number one. Number two, the curvature, it is smooth and uniform. Here curvature in female sacrum, curvature is abrupt and it is more concave or more deep. And number three, sacral index, transverse diameter of the base divided by length of the sacrum multiplied by 100 is called sacral index, which will be less than 100%. But here the breadth is more, length is less. So breadth by length into 100 will be more than 100%. So sacral index is less, here is more. And last but not the least is the extension of the auricular surface, which extends up to the sacral 3 vertebra, but in female sacrum it extends up to the sacral 2 vertebra. So all these are differences between male and female sacrum. And some examiners prefer to ask another question, what do you mean by lumbarization of sacral vertebra and sacralization of lumbar vertebra? Very simple, the name itself indicates the answer. First of all, lumbarization of sacrum. Sacral means first sacral vertebra. If the first sacral vertebra detached from the other sacral vertebra and becomes a part of the lumbar vertebra or fused with the lumbar vertebra either by the body or by the transverse process, if they are fused either on one side or both sides or fused with this, the first sacral, in that case it is called the lumbarization of first sacral vertebra, and in that case the sacrum will be consisting of 4 sacral vertebrae. And another term is the sacralization of the lumbar vertebra. If this 5th lumbar vertebra fused with this first sacral vertebra, now the sacrum is formed by the 6th vertebra, and in that case lumbar vertebra will be 4, number 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th is fused with the first sacrum. So I think this is all for the sacrum, and but before ending, I just giving a very 1 minute revision of the whole topic. You have to hold the sacrum in this way so that this pelvic surface looks forwards and downwards, and the rough posterior surface upwards and backwards. This is base or broad part looking upwards, apex downwards. So this is the anatomical position of the sacrum, and different parts are there: the ventral surface or pelvic surface, dorsal surface, and this is lateral surface. On the ventral surface, you will get the transverse ridges for the fusion, and on either side anterior sacral foramina, and lateral to this is the lateral mass. And the upper part, this is the ala of the sacrum, which is the wing shaped extension from the body, and 4 important relations of this ala of the sacrum: anteriorly, sympathetic trunk, lumbosacral trunk, iliolumbar artery, and obturator nerve from medial to lateral side. And posteriorly, here is the median sacral crest formed by the fusion of all the spines, intermediate sacral crest formed by the fusion of the articular processes excepting the superior articular process of first sacral vertebra and intra-articular process of 5th sacral vertebra. it will form the corner of the sacrum and it will articulate with the fifth lumbar vertebra. And lateral sacral crest, it is formed by the fusion of transverse process. Here the important muscle is the erector spinae muscle, which overlaps the another muscle called multifidus. And here one important muscle anteriorly, it is called piriformis, which is E-shaped attachment. And lastly, this is sacral canal through which passes the cauda equina and the meninges, and this is hiatus sacralis, which is formed due to the non-fusion of the lamina of the fifth sacral vertebra usually, and the structures passing through is filum terminally and coccygeal nerves and fifth sacral nerves. And in living, it is closed by one ligament called superficial part of the sacrococcygeal ligament. It covers this gap in the living. So that's all for sacrum. I think now it is easy for you to pick this bone during the examination. So if still if you have any queries or any doubt, so I will clear you, but you have to write me in my comment box and there I will tell you your queries. So thank you very much for today. If you like this video, click on the like button and share it to your friends, and of course subscribe it. Thank you.